How's everybody doing? Welcome to the final episode of Monster Hunter Stories. It was a long journey. If you saw my post that I made on YouTube here, it was just over 24 hours of content, recorded content. I had a couple, probably about an hour, maybe close to 2 hours of not recorded content of just running around and grabbing materials as well. Um, for potions, for um, all the different stuff that you need for your inventory, um, upgrade stuff like some of the ores and whatnot. But it took a long time. It took a long time to finish off high rank. And by finish off high rank, I mean I went through and I fought every monster and killed every monster in the game. At least every monster I'm aware of. There's a couple different fights that are special that you have to get through. They're all but one of them, I believe, are in the special subquests. Those would be White Monoblos, Molten Tigrex, Arashi Kirin, Gold Rathian, Silver Rathalos, a particular Seregios, although you can fight Seregios elsewhere, Teostra, twice actually I had to beat him for two different quests, Kushala Daora, high rank Rajang, which I thought was going to be harder than it was because we were still struggling with low rank Rajang for a while, San Barioth, which again you could find that in the open world eventually, Kirin, which was actually the one not in the special side quests or subquests. That one was actually in normal subquests. Wasn't too much of an issue. And then finally, Fatalis. So, some of these I fought multiple times. Some of these I fought once and done and beat them. I did beat all of them. White Monoblos I fought, I think, 2 or 3 times. Beat it every time. Molten Tigrex, I lost to once. Arashi Kirin I beat first time. Gold Rathian, I believe I died to twice, because that was one of the first ones that I tried. And, like to hit my head up against a wall. Silver Rathalos, we defeated first time. Seregios was back and forth. The actual special subquest for it, I defeated first try, but there were other high rank Seregios that did faint us, so there is that. Teostra, I died to once, maybe twice. I think it was only once. To its supernova, which it does do in this game. But then I beat, the 2 iterations of it and was done with him. Kushala Daora, we beat first try. We only fought it once. Again, high rank Rajang. We defeated first try, which was surprising. San Barioth, beat first try. I never lost to a San Barioth. That one was rather simple. Kirin we beat first try, and then Fatalis we lost twice. Once by just peeking our head in and seeing what it was like. Second time with an actual, proper go at it. And then the third time we beat it, although it was stressful. I did not think we were going to win that, just because of the way the fight ends. It ends kind of on a Fatalis just sitting there waiting to see what you're going to do, almost like the Aptonoth do at the beginning of the game. Wait and see. When Fatalis does that, it's because when you hit him, he's going to do a super move, fire move, and it's destroys your health. I was very over leveled. There was a lot of leveling that went into this, and I'll get into that in a minute. But that was something that definitely took a lot of time, and my gosh, I don't want to do it again. But Fatalis was a good fight. I enjoyed it. Although most of that time, as you'll see, I'll be showing in the background here. I don't know if it's showing yet or not, but it will be showing in the background. A lot of that time was having my Monstie do the attacks while I just healed me and or the Monstie. And that's how we got through that. Now, from the end of the last episode to the beginning of this one, we did have a couple team changes. So the end of the last episode started off, or ended with Ratha, our Rathian, the Stig, which is a Stygian Zinogre, White Lightning, which is a, what's it called? It's a Legiacris. It's not Abyss. Is it Abyssal? It's not Abyssal, is it? I forget what it's called. I'll tell you here in a second. Heat, which was a Black Diablos. Pickle, which was obviously, Devil Joe. And Blade, who was a Seregios. We finished with Mufasa, who was a Teostra. I thought that was a cool naming convention for him. Blade, obviously the Seregios. Spice, who was a Gold Rathian. White Lightning, again, is the... where is it here? Ivory Legiacris. It's, the white version. Comet, who was a Silver Rathalos. And Pickle, who ended up being the MVP. And I thought I was going to drop him just because of his defense. But we worked around that eventually. He got all the way up to level 75. Him and White Lightning were our top levels by the end of the game. But Pickle turned out to be my go-to towards the end for, the tough fights. Just because he has a move called Gluttony. So Gluttony, it deals non-elemental damage to a single enemy. It is a power move. So if it goes up against speed, that sucks. Or power, it sucks as well. It's only really useful for technique or not being attacked directly. But it recovers the user's HP, so it's super useful. I use that a lot. Matched with the fact that Pickle has 686 HP, which was the most of any of my Monsties by 70 HP. The next closest would be Blade, who was level 72. He was 70, HP lower than Pickle. And he did have more defense, but Pickle just, out-damaged him. Because Pickle was also the strongest as far as strength, power rating, what have you. So again, became a very integral part towards the end. Now, with the grinding, we did have a ton of grinding. A ton of grinding. So we fought 329 monsters in that 24 hours plus of recording. That's a lot. That's one every 4 point some odd minutes, not including, travel time and whatnot, walking to different areas, hatching eggs, upgrading gear, trying to do, the rituals to get the moves switched over for each way. So it really did add up. Some fights were obviously shorter, so we ran into a Velocidrome or Velociprey or Boldrome or Bullfango or something like that. Those ones went pretty quick, but then there were other ones like Fatalis, Teostra, stuff that took way, way, way over those 4 minutes. I think the one Fatalis took like 30 minutes because it was my first time through and I was really trying to go slow and I still got demolished. Just trying to like really feel out everything. Now, by that time, I was pretty much decided that I wasn't going to air those episodes. I was going to just do a recap, which is what we got here. But that was, something that did take more time. And that any failure quests, failure fights, I did not count in that number. So the 329 is wins, not failures, which there was a few. I'd guess around a dozen to 15 of them. If I had to guess. So again, it took a while. As far as eggs, we got 77 new eggs, which again is quite a lot. We only ended up changing 3 of our monsties, Comet, Spice, and Mufasa. Mufasa came in handy at the end of the game to switch into for to tank damage from fire attacks, because a lot of the monsters at the end Teostra is just good against. So obviously good against Teostra himself, good against Fatalis, good against the Silver Wrath and Gold Rathian, Molten Tigrex it's good against. So sorry, I had to get a drink there. So it's really became a nice part of the team there, whereas Comet and Spice didn't really get much use. I tried to incorporate them as much as I could, but they just didn't come in handy. Most of the game after the episode prior to this was using Pickle toward the end, but before that it was White Lightning. And the episode that we finished on sorry, prior to this one, White Lightning was level 28 and Pickle was level 35. Our highest level, actually, was 51, which was Ratha, which we got rid of Ratha pretty quickly. Probably like 7-8 hours in. Out of that 24 plus, we got rid of Ratha and moved to other stuff because Ratha just wasn't keeping up power-wise. Even with, giving it strength augment stuff. There's little vials of, you can up your strength or vitality and whatnot. It just still wasn't keeping up with Pickle and White Lightning. Now keep in mind, White Lightning's 28 and Pickle's 35. They ended up at, what was it, 75, 77, something like that? Whatever I said a minute ago. So, again, a lot of leveling. There was a good bit of wasted leveling because I wasn't sure of what the optimal team was. And a decent amount toward the end of the game was, before I went in to fight like the Elder Dragons and like Rajang, was me just running around trying to find different monsties that I could hatch from eggs that I could use to do a ritual on to give moves of a certain type. So I wanted all my monsties in my group, all 6 of them, to have a technical move, a speed move, and a power move. Technical was one of the harder ones to find, I found. But a good source of that is Seregios. Seregios hatches with a technical move that can be transferred. So that is a good go-to. Power was easy to find, and speed was easy to find. Technical just gave us the issue. I'm sure there's other monsters that give you technical as well, rather easily, but Seregios was, plentiful in the first area, in the hills, and we could just re-up the quest if we needed to, and try and get it to run away in certain instances, to get it, a den to try and get its egg. So yeah, that's basically how we did that. We used a lot of the quests to go back to again to build up materials for the final fights. So life powders, dusts of life, max potions, stuff like that. We went back and farmed those enough to do each quest and have a full stock of those, as well as traps for the lower than Elder Dragon tier. We took those in a lot. Didn't end up using them that much. My idea was a trap would be like last ditch effort if I was up against a wall and could not heal both me and the monster enough. I'd put a trap down and then do a heal next turn when the monster was in the trap and my monster could attack. Basically, just give a free turn. So, a lot of what I wanted to do with this episode here was not only go over what happened in that 24 plus hour amount of time, but also give my thoughts on the game. So this is kind of a review portion as well. The game came out in 2016. If you want a proper review, there's reviews out there. But just my thoughts on this, and if it's worth going back to, because Monster Hunter Stories is coming out next year. It is currently 2025, October of 2025, and Monster Hunter Stories 3 is coming out next March. Basically a year after Wilds would have came out, which was the last day of February this year, February 28th of 2025. Really dating the video by putting dates in like this, but even still, if you want to play a game, and I've played Monster Hunter Stories 2, I've not beat it, I dropped it, I think about 60 to 70% through the game, I dropped it. If I had to guess, and we are going to go back and play that, but if I was going to give you a recommendation for if you wanted to play this game, if you should or not, with Stories 3 coming out, I would say unequivocally, without a doubt, don't touch it. It's the game. When it's fun, it's fun. Okay? You have a great time. Getting the monsters is great. Like, everything that is fun in this game, though, is fun in Stories 2 or more fun. And the story, while there are references to the first one in the second one, the second Monster Hunter Stories is not a pure sequel to Stories 1. It's not a one-to-one sequel. The characters are different. The only character that's not different is Navirou. Which a lot of people were angry about because they didn't want Navirou back. I quite agree. He is annoying. But you get over that by just making fun of him, mostly. The problem with it, and why I don't recommend it, they do this like semi-Pokemon thing. Like, the whole game is very akin to Pokemon, but it's very different as well. Okay? The hatching of the eggs and whatnot is different, obviously, but it's the same premise. You build up a team, you fight other monsters to get stronger, you learn moves, stuff like that. You can min-max your monsties in later game, and there's, challenges toward the end. All that is very Pokemon-like. What's not Pokemon-like, and where this series has always fallen flat for me, and it's always fallen off, Stories 2 is better than Stories 1 in this aspect, but it's still not the same as Pokemon. Pokemon, when you fight, you have a set of up to 4 different moves, that you can use to attack the other monster, the other Pokemon. The other Pokemon can attack you back, or it can lower your defense, or raise its attack, or, a whole bunch of different things. Depends on the move. But you each have a turn. It's a turn-based game. There's a speed rating. There's, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed. I said speed already. There's, HP, all that. Types, which I think types would be an interesting thing for them to do. Really focus more into that. There is a little bit of that in here, but not much. That's how Pokemon set up. The way with Monster Hunter Stories, especially, again, it gets better in Stories too, is it's rock, paper, scissors. So speed beats power, power beats technical, technical beats speed. Just like rock, paper, scissors, okay? 3 things go around and around, and you have to, counter the attacking opponent, whether it be human in some cases, or monster. You have to counter it with the correct move. Now, sometimes it doesn't give you a move. Sometimes it's, an actual attack with no designated move. Those ones can't be countered. You can negate them in certain ways, like doing your big spirit move. That will negate it sometimes. Sometimes it won't. Depends on speed. But that's how you do the entire combat system. The problem with it in this game is there's no clear tell for what the monster on the other side is doing. So, like, take Rajang, for instance. Rajang eventually will do a boost power move. It'll take a turn, and it will say it's boosting the power of power attacks for a turn. So then for the couple turns after that, it is prone to using power attacks, but it will not always use power attacks. It can switch it up. I'm more okay with that than this instance that I'm going to be talking about here in a second. But when your monster, like, that part's fine, but when the monster's not doing something like that, certain monsters can rotate through all 3 different attack styles, technique, speed, and power. They can rotate through all 3, and there's no indication of which one they're in. Some monsters can be scripted, so like the first attack's gonna be this, second attack's gonna be this, third attack's gonna be that. To a certain point, you have a very, very, very good chance of that script being correct, but there's a chance that it's wrong, so you can't script it either. And then the cherry on top, and you'll remember this if you watched the Brachydios episode, where the first time we fought Brachydios, you have to wound its head, you have to wound its tail, and then you have its body that you can attack. And destroying the head, I think it was power attacks that we got rid of. It gave you a dialogue box that says, the monster can now no longer do any power moves. I read this multiple times out loud, because the very next move that it did, after that turn was over, was a power move. And it consistently mixed in power moves after the head was broke. And the dialogue box clearly said the monster can no longer do power moves. Same thing with the tail. I think the tail was technical moves, or technical or speed. It was one of the two. I think it was technical, though, if memory serves correctly. That kind of thing is infuriating, because it's not about skill anymore. It's not about knowledge or, a strategy. It is pure guessing. And there were times that I just got screwed. Just constantly. Just no matter what I picked, it rotated to the thing that was powerful against that. And it just screws you. And that doesn't feel good. That's not a good game style. And that is why I have always been an advocate of them moving away from the rock, paper, scissors version and just doing actual moves, Pokemon style. Or something of the like. Or just flushing it out more. But when there's no clear advantage for having knowledge or skill in the combat, or even, countering, that feels bad. Not only, so even when you counter, so say the opponent attacks with a power move, and you're like, okay, I think they're going to do power, I'm going to do speed. So you choose speed, and you have a head-to-head. You should win that unequivocally, right? You don't. You still get damaged. You still take damage for that. And that damage, as you get higher up, can be very severe. Very, very severe. To the point that I was level 74 at the end, and 351 HP. What is my... I'll have to check my defense here in a minute. Let's see if I can see it here. Status. My defense was 268. HP was 351. Level 74. And I would get darn near 50% of my health taken off by certain attacks. That's ridiculous. That's just, it just doesn't feel good. And that's with me winning a clash at times. So something needs to change there. I don't remember if you get hurt in the second one, if you guessed correctly. Now there are things that foreshadow the moves in the second one, so you can tell a little bit easier. So that's good. Something I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that really does need fleshed out even more from 2 to 3, in my opinion. Just to make it a better system. As far as like an element class for each monster, they have resistances just like they do in normal Monster Hunter. So there is that. Like, take Pickle for instance. Technically he is a dragon type, but my Pickle is weak to thunder and dragon. You can change this by, changing the genes, but that takes up a slot. That's not always something you want to do. So it goes back and forth. But you can min-max your monsties for different situations, which is what I was trying to do towards the end with getting the different moves and also slotting in, more attack or more defense. So like Pickle, I really focused on defense because I knew I could get my HP back. Just had to not lose too much of it at a time. So again, that's what I did for the Fatalis hunt. I just went in and tried to gain as much HP as possible. Most of Fatalis's attacks are indirect attacks where they're not using a power, speed, or technical move. It's just using like a tail whip or a flame attack or what have you. So you can go in and just use Gluttony every time in that instance, but a lot of other monsters weren't like that, so you had to play around that. That's when I'd go back to White Lightning, who was my second strongest Monstie. But yeah, I mean, overall, I did enjoy my time with the game. I did not hate going back to it. Um, the beginning was a bit boring, but once we got really into the thick of it, uh, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the last 24 plus hours. Uh, Other than the infuriating losses that I'd have every now and again just from the computer, you know, the AI enemies just, matching what I did or countering what I did every time. And you'd get a hunt or two like that, and it'd just be like, okay, time to put the game down. But, yeah, overall, I did like it. I do not recommend, if you're looking to play one of them, play two. If you aren't worried about playing both of them before, I'd say just skip one. It's not a horrible game, just infuriating at times. But yeah, overall, decent game. Little bit not fleshed out, little bit childish with the age group that it was going for. The second one does, punch up a little bit in that age group, more like teenage version rather than kids. And it looks like 3 is going to be, an older version as well. Maybe an older audience will be more accustomed to that one. So let's hope for that. But yeah, this last episode of Stories. Now that we're done with this, we are looking at Stories 2. When I start that, I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a Nuzlocke, although I'm not exactly sure on what kind of rules I'm going to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to do conventional rules of, 1 Monstie per area, or if I'm going to go into something like I can have 1 Brute, 1 Elder, 1 Flying, what have you, something like that. That might be interesting, although limit me quite a bit. Also, I'm thinking deaths will not count unless it is a full 3 heart kill. As far as levels, I don't know how we're going to do that. We could go off the first one, I suppose, for max level. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure the how the leveling is in that one again. I don't remember what level I was when I quit. I suppose I could, boot up my Switch one day and check it, but so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Nuzlocke. Just haven't settled the rules yet. If you do have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. That would be much appreciated. Hopefully the next one we can get done a little quicker. This one really did drag out quite a bit. And honestly, it's all on me. I'm the one playing the game. But this last episode, I left sit for a while because the amount of video I had to go through, count up the numbers and eggs, and just figure out what I wanted to use and what I didn't want to use, and I wanted to make sure I had, the correct content and really think about it. And I'm a procrastinator, and I just didn't want to do it. I was procrastinating so hard. That's the problem. I have a couple other projects that I'm working on that I'm also procrastinating quite a bit on. 2 Monster Hunter related ones that are going to be coming to the channel hopefully soon. We'll see. I do have a good bit of work to do left on those. But if you saw the most recent short, Make Swag, not Make Swag's great again. What did I call it? Shoot, what did I call it? Now I don't remember. See, this is what happens. I just get, give Swax its swagger back. That's what I called it. Give Swax its swagger back. Blah, blah, blah. hard to say. But yeah, go ahead, watch that. Doesn't have a lot of views. It does have music with it. It's, you know, free to use music, free use. But that'll give you kind of an idea of one of the things I'm working on. I am trying to get some stock footage of Wild as well. So you might see me in there. But yeah, I think we're going to call it there because I'm just rambling at this point, and you guys probably are sick of the video. And if you stayed this long, thank you so much. If you did like the video, again, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. All would be much appreciated. You guys are great. Thank you for watching. Look forward to Monster Hunter Stories 2, and we'll see you next time. Bye.